makes us better. So we're proud to support Connacht, Leinster, Munster and Ulster Rugby. While most folks share for one, we support all 4 provinces because we live and work in all 4. And round here, competition is a good friend. It fuels us, connects us, pushes us past whatever stands in our way. And when we fall on the pitch or off it, it picks us up and reminds us, once you begin, you must never stop competing.
I remember playing New Ross once. One that stands out, I remember playing New Ross, and I didn't know Tyke Furlong at the time, but it turned out it was him playing, because I just remember I remember talking to him about it. I was like, there was 2 really big guys on the team, and it was him and one of the other guys on the team, on his team. So it had to have been him. And I remember, gosh, it must have been 8 or 9 at the time. And I remember it was like open field, and the 2 big lads. You always, when you're that age, you always remember like the big guys, because the big guys on the team. The 2 of them were like, I don't know how it ended up happening, but obviously it's the nature of underage rugby. The 2 of them were kind of at fullback, so there was like a gap. The try line was in the middle, and the 2 of them were either side. And I tried to sprint straight for the middle. I thought I'd make it, and I got sandwiched between them, 2 of them.
The main thing is it's so important to have role models for these children to look up to, and I think that's something we've done really, really well here in Wicklow. I mean, we have, I think, over 200 girls playing now in the youth section, which is absolutely fantastic, and I think that's kind of how important the sustainability of it is. I mean, to have long-term success for our women's team, we have to have players feeding in. I mean, we're not a Dublin club. We don't kind of have the ability to almost rely on colleges kind of feeding us players, and I think that's something that's been realised here in Wicklow for a long, long time. I mean, Ronan Griffey, I think we actually had a players meeting at the start of the year just to share kind of why we play, and I think 80% of the women said that Ronan Griffey was the reason why they kind of started rugby. So I think it's people like him that have kind of invested so much of their time and realised that kind of long-term success of a team comes from grassroots.
That's an imprint that Wicklow has had on us and on our family. It's even though the little ones, like when they came here, they were 1, but Wicklow is just, they love Wicklow. So it's just something. It's the people here. The support for everything is just incredible. And I knew that's rugby, but this is something else.
Oh, well done, well done. Okay, Julie, you come over here with me. Now, we're here in St. Joseph's Community Centre in Wexford Town for our 3rd week of our walk and rugby programme. A modified version of rugby that we can use for players of all abilities, ages. It's in partnership with Sports Active Wexford and Wexford County Council.
Sports Active Wexford, we support a number of groups, and we work with loads of different national governing bodies. One of which today we're working with Leinster Rugby, and we're doing walk and rugby, and it's absolutely fantastic.
So they're for players and people of all abilities, so both all ages, mental and physical disabilities. We want to keep these players and people active as much as we possibly can, but more than anything today really it's about the social aspect and the fun aspect.
So it's great to have Leinster Rugby involved with the walk and rugby. They provide all the skills and the expertise to the guys, and as well with walk and rugby, it's just so inclusive. Everybody here is having so much fun today, and it's a great social aspect for them. All the groups get to mix in together, which they wouldn't usually do during their typical day.
The beauty of walk and rugby is we can change and modify the rules depending on the group we have. So you can see here today we're not really looking at forward passes too much, we just want them to play. So as long as they're moving into space and putting the ball into space, we're happy. And if you can score a try, happy days. If it just means crossing the line, doesn't matter. So as long as everyone's having fun and scoring tries, it doesn't matter. Oh, well done. Well done, great try.
Everyone is competing with something, and that's okay. Competition is a good thing. Not the kind that makes us bitter, the kind that makes us better. So we're proud to support Connacht, Leinster, Munster and Ulster Rugby. While most folks share for one, we support all 4 provinces. Because we live and work in all 4. And round here, competition is a good friend. It fuels us, connects us, pushes us past whatever stands in our way. And when we fall on the pitch or off it, it picks us up and reminds us, once you begin, you must never stop competing.
Dublin. It is a massive day in Dublin. It is the first game of the 2020-23 Leinster Schools Senior Cup, and it's the big one. It's St. Michael's taking on Belvedere College. St. Michael's have had an impressive pre-season, winning 8 of their 12 games, including a victory over Blackrock. With Belvedere College, they've also had an impressive opening season, winning 12 of their 17 games, including victories against Mary's and Gonzaga. These sides, of course, met exactly 3 months ago to the day, where St. Michael's came out atop in 55 points to 12. In terms of St. Michael's side today, well, they've got 11 players who either represented Ireland in the Irish squads over Christmas or in Leinster in July. Irish 19s for St. Michael's are Ben Howard, the loose head prop, Willem de Klerk, the yard off, Jules Fenneman, the outside centre. In the Irish 18 squads, there was Tom Stewart, Rian Coogan, the tight head prop, James White, the captain today, in the number 6 jumper. And in terms of Leinster under 19s, there was Willem de Klerk, Mikey O'Reilly, Jules Fenneman. And then for Leinster under 18s, they had the whole front row in Ben Howard, Tom Stewart, Rian Coogan, James White, Sam Corrigan as well, and James Strew in the number 9, and then Paddy Wood and Billy O'Donoghue. They are coached by Emmett McMahon and Andy Skean, and they'll be looking to better this year's Senior Cup by getting out of the first round. They did lose to Blackrock in the first round in 2022, losing 25 points to 20. St. Michael's, well, they had 6 players who played in that Blackrock game last year. And Belvedere College, well, they've just got 4 players who were in the Irish 18 side or the Leinster under 18 sides in July. In terms of Irish 18s, it's Alan Spicer, watch out for him. A killer whale at Belvedere College. Also watch out for Alex Usanoff, the number 7, also in that Irish 18 squad. And then in terms of Leinster under 18s, Owen McDermott, Alan Spicer, Alex Usanoff, and Andre Ryan, the tall left winger. St. Michael's making their way out onto the park. Perfect opportunity for me to introduce the Irish Independent's chief rugby correspondent, Rory O'Connor. Rory, thoughts on this game?
Yeah, Justin, it's great to be here in Donnybrook, and it's a cold but fairly perfect conditions. A little bit of breeze, it's hard to gauge. It'll be tough on the kickers, but really, there's nowhere you'd rather be today. Big crowd here in Donnybrook, 2 really evenly matched teams, both with designs on the trophy. And it's quite cruel that they meet in this first round, but it makes for what should be a really good spectacle. I'm expecting quite a structured game from both teams. But St. Michael's, because they played in that tournament in Thailand, that means that Belvedere have footage on them. They've done their research, they've had the chance to do their homework. It might even things up after their game that they had in pre-season. But look, it's all to play for. It's Cup Rugby, and it's going to be a really interesting game.
Referee today is John Carville, the man in the middle, a veteran of the All-Ireland League. So much experience. It will be St. Michael's playing from right to left. And Willem de Klerk, the South African born, will get us underway. In terms of the recent head-to-head in the Leinster Senior Cup, of the last 4 occasions, Belvedere have won 3 out of the last 4 between the sides. So John Carville checking with his officials. Massive crowd out here today in the first round, first game of round 1 of the 2023 Leinster Schools Senior Cup. John Carville signals time on. Willem de Klerk for St. Michael's gets us underway. And immediately it's taken by the inside centre, Jack Dunn. At the base is Flanagan. Here's McDermott now, Owen McDermott. Big tackle by David Walsh. And Granville, the hooker. Flanagan, and here's Arthur O'Reilly, the tight end prop. Flanagan back to Gahan. And here's Billy de Klerk. He's a talented individual. Billy de Klerk, the out off. Stabs it downtown. And David Lucy, the fullback, was well positioned. He's under pressure though. Flanagan, and here's Granville. So 2 carries for the hooker in the opening minutes. A ferocious start at Energia Park. Paul Flanagan using that caterpillar ruck. And it goes to the skies. And Paddy Wood smashed in the tackle, the left winger. Sherwin, White the captain, Willem de Klerk. Here we go for Knuff, the inside centre. He's a big customer. Great tackle by Jack Dunn. And it's a penalty.
Yeah, off their feet there at that rugby. You can see Willem de Klerk is having an influence already. Belvedere gone to the air twice, and both times Michaels have had really good joy coming back at them. The space there, that chasing line isn't covering across the pitch, and Willem de Klerk seems to be able to spot it. So I know Belvo now have a chance to get into the 22, but still, or not quite the 22, in between the 10, but just as you can see that tackle there, the Michaels 30 just goes straight off his feet. It's a fairly straightforward decision for the referee. Penalty on our first line out of the game.
So it will be Liam Granville to throw. The hooker, of course, gets the call from Arthur O'Reilly, the big tight end prop. And look at the human killer whale, the number 5, Alan Spicer. And it's been poached by David Walsh. Outstanding. And here's Tom Stewart, the hooker. Willem de Klerk spreads it wide. And Jules Fenelon with the skip pass into touch. Nervous start for St. Michael's.
Yeah, the space was there, just the pass didn't go to hand, but again, it's another chance for that Belvo line out to get going. I mean, Spicer's a big man, he's a hard man to miss, but by Michaels, David Walsh got up there really, really well, won that first one, poached the throw, and this time they get a chance to get it right, but that spooks me. You're losing your first one, that makes things difficult for you. It gets into your head.
Granville to throw. Up goes McCann. Ryan McCann. And here come Belvedere College. They've got an impressive rolling maul. They've got the free play as well. Flanagan to Dunn. And then Gahan, and that ball's gone forward. But we will come back for the penalty.
Yeah, we'll see a replay of it here, but at least Belvedere, that's a big one for Granville to get that throw off. And you saw once they got the possession, they looked dangerous. They forced the penalty. It's for pulling down the maul. And a real chance now as they go onto the 5 metre line. A real chance if they can nail their drill. But that's a big one for Granville to get his confidence up.
So can Belvedere College strike 5 metres out? Up goes Ryan McCann. Beautiful work. Usanov has it at the back, the number 7. 4 metres out here. Alan Spicer. Granville pops it to Matthew O'Neill. O'Neill still going. Good carry. White is trying to get the turnover. Good defensive efforts. They love the pick and go, Belvedere College. O'Reilly, the tight end prop.
There's a lot of space wide left if they can get the ball out there.
Another pick and go. Staunch St. Michael's defense. Flanagan to Matthew O'Neill. Well poised. Belvedere College. Granville with the carry. So many phases. Great defense from St. Michael's. Belvedere College keeping it tight. And O'Reilly with the hits. This will be a massive defensive effort. they can keep Belvedere College out. Flanagan for Matthew O'Neill, the number 8. Penalty to St. Michael's. Big moment in the game so far after 5 minutes.
Absolutely, Justin, and really, Belvo got a bit of tunnel vision there. I know that it's a riskier business to go with the pass, but there was some acres and acres of space wide left. They weren't getting any traction. Big tackles going in there from David Walsh in particular. A couple of the Michaels forwards stepping up, and we can see it's Mikey O'Reilly gets in over the ball, but it's holding on the deck, and it's a real opportunity lost by old Belvedere and a real defensive win for this St. Michael's team.
Tom Stewart to throw, part of the Ireland under-20 squad over Christmas, under-18 squad over Christmas. Gets the call from Ben Howard, who was in the under-19 Irish squad over Christmas. So up goes David Walsh. It's a clean take. Tom Stewart at the back. James Sherwin looks relaxed, the number 9. Says, keep going, boys. And that's great defense from Spicer. But gives away a penalty in the process.
Yeah, and St. Michael's will be really pleased with that. First line out goes to hand. They get it down, they drive it, and they force the penalty. Spicer just getting a bit too keen, swims through the ruck, I think, gets his hands on the ball carrier illegally, and a chance now for de Klerk, if it is de Klerk, to put them down there and set something up for Michaels to get their structure going.
Billy de Klerk, Ireland under-19 squad over Christmas, also Leinster under-19s in July, and started at inside centre against Blackrock in the first round in 2022, and in his final year at St. Michael's. Stewart to throw. David Walsh to the take, but that is skewed, and Belvedere College at the put in at the scrum.
Yeah, it is a windy day here, Justin, but I think that one he just held on a little bit too long. It spun off and just kind of veered left. It was pretty clear, pretty straightforward. I know we're going to have our first scrum of the game. And a real chance for these packs to lay down the marker. I know that 1.5 metre law is in, so they're not going to get too much dominance, but you can still set the tone. It's still a big physical engagement and 2 big packs. I mean, look at the size of some of those boys. A lot of weight coming through from Spicer and Belvo's second row. And a chance for Belvo. It's a really good attacking position. You look at the space out here on the right.
Paul Flanagan with the put-in. Matthew O'Neill at the back. Flanagan. Here's Cohen now, the out half. Paddy O'Grady. Andre Ryan. And here's Bart. Bart still going the right winger. Good carry. Good defence as well by St. Michael's. They've got a much-needed turnover. De Klerk has to play at scrum off. And here is Corrigan, the number 8. And Usanov trying to cause havoc. It's another penalty to St. Michael's, an opportunity to relieve some pressure.
Yeah, and you can see the it's a big game for these players. They've been preparing it for months. This has been they've been part of rugby programs for a number of years, and nerves are bound to play a part. And you can see they're both the stakes are so high here. There's so much pressure on them. They're making mistakes, and maybe the team that relaxes into it first, that finds their rhythm, is the one that's going to get ahead, because right now they're both making mistakes. Barr did really well to beat the first defender, but then they lose the ball. So if you can just hold on to it, you've got a chance.
Stewart taken by Riley, and here is James White, the skipper. Sherwin, that's a go. And what a carry that was by O'Reilly. Also a really good tackle. And here's Lucy, finds Kirkham, Larry Kirkham, the right winger. Sherwin, Billy de Klerk, and Mikey O'Reilly is really getting involved, the number 5. A towering presence. Sherwin, Lucy popping up at first receiver. Coogan to White. Good hands by the tight end prop. White, the captain, still going. Here comes St. Michael's. Billy de Klerk to Corrigan. Sherwin, Tom Stewart, Billy de Klerk. Numbers on the left. De Klerk is looking for the offload. Sherwin, Tom Stewart. Sherwin for Mikey O'Reilly, another impressive carry. Corrigan, the number 8. First real opportunity for St. Michael's. And de Klerk takes contact. And this time it's Rory Brown, 6 metres out. And it's a penalty to Belvedere College. Big penalty as well. A big pressure reliever, Rory.
Yeah, a lot of phases there, and I'm just trying to get the number of the player. One of the Michaels guys comes in from the side, but as we were just talking about there before, the continuity that Michaels were able to show there, we just saw what they were capable of once they held onto the ball. O'Reilly was huge. I thought he might have knocked on early in that phase, but he got away with it, and he showed up for contact 3 or 4 times. And I think it was Gordon Barr made a really, really crucial tackle on de Klerk, who looks really, really influential out there for that St. Michael's team. But danger for Belvo. If they let Michaels hold onto the ball, they're going to be in trouble.
What can Belvedere College produce from this line out? Granville to throw. And it's an overthrow, and Rory Brown pounces. Open side flanker. Kirkham has the play at scrum off. Corrigan taps it back. Fenlon, Jules Fenlon, the outside centre. Billy de Klerk, the out aft. Good tackle by Matthew O'Neill. Slow ball for St. Michael's, and it's a turnover by McCann. And here is Morgan McMahon, the number 6. Flanagan, Gohan, the yard off. Looks for some real estate. Superb kick.
The chase.
And Kirkham is under pressure. Andre Ryan, what a tackle by Andre Ryan. Pressure on St. Michael's. What a kick that was from Gahan. Here's Reen Coogan, offload to O'Reilly and Howard. Enterprising rugby in the opening game of round 1 of the 2023 Leinster Schools Senior Cup. And de Klerk sends it long. And Gahan, great pass. And into touch that goes, but ferocious stuff after 12 minutes. What intensity.
That was a great kick there, but I do think Belvo on turnover ball, they had men over and they just didn't see the pass. They took the first contact, and I think this game is looking like it's going to be a really tight one, and it's a team that's able to stay patient. I'm calling against patience here, but to take their opportunities when they're presenting themselves. But this is a wonderful kick and a really, really excellent chase from Andre Ryan. He really hunted down the St. Michael's winger, and you know, Michaels were able to get themselves out of trouble in the end, but it was good maturity from them to get themselves, but still a good position for Belvo if they can put pressure on. We've seen both lineouts are coming under pressure. I think there's attention for Spicer here. That'll be a big, or is it Sir tight head prop? Arthur O'Reilly. It's not actually. It's Matthew O'Neill. He made a really good tackle there a little bit earlier. But both lineouts under pressure. I think going to the tail is dangerous in these conditions. There is quite a strong wind, and we've seen both teams struggle. And with Spicer on that lineout, if they can get him up and challenge, he's just such a handful for the opposition. It's going to be very difficult for Liam Granville to find. Sorry, Tom Stewart to find his man. It looks like O'Neill's going to be okay.
Also running repairs for Mikey O'Reilly, the number 5. So far being ever present.
I'd say they could both do with a breather, Justin. It's been fairly hectic so far, so this might allow them to calm things down.
Absolutely. Tom Stewart. And O'Reilly, it's not a clean take. Competition at line on time. Sherwin for Ben Howard, and he spills the pull. Yusunov now. Gahan, skip pass. And Cuddy, the fullback. Ivor Cuddy. Flanagan at 9 to Granville. It's been industrious so far. Gahan. Flanagan once more. Gahan. Beautiful little break. And Gahan. Skip pass to Andre Ryan. He's got jet shoes. Turnover. And St. Michael's with the poach. It was initially a beautiful break by the tight head prop, Arthur O'Reilly. It looks like a handful. An opportunity for St. Michael's to find touch, and that's a great kick.
It was Billy de Klerk got in over the ball. Really important intervention because O'Neill had made a really good break up the left, and Belvo starting to move the play. And it's working for them as well. They're finding space out wide. He looks like a player. Andre Ryan. Well, you can see de Klerk in the yellow boots just gets over the ball. And it's a really, really brilliant, brave piece of play. A really important poach for his team. And he's been very, very good so far.
Another line on for Belvedere College. Liam Granville. Ryan McCann. Flanagan. Garhan. Beautiful ball from Cuddy to O'Neill, the number 8. Flanagan. And here's Arthur O'Reilly. Tackled by Walsh and O'Reilly. The lock partnership for St. Michael's. Granville. Tom Stewart and Corrigan with the tackle. Usanoff. Crowd favourite, the number 7. Spicer into his opposite number, O'Reilly. Penalty. Free play, Belvedere College. Garhan and Jack Dunn.
And you can see the impact of Spicer there when they got him on the ball. They got a latch on as well. It was a big collision, got over the line, and they just managed to trap the Michaels guy on the far side. I didn't quite catch who it was, but he didn't really have much of an opportunity to roll away. And it's a penalty, and it's a chance for Belvo, who I think are really growing into this game and are just marginally on top right now. But they've got no points on the board, so they'll really feel like they need to get in. And the touch judge is having a word with the referee now, so we'll have to see how this one plays out. Belvo will be praying it's not going to be reversed.
Belvedere College in the history have won the Leinster School Senior Cup 12 times. St. Michael's 3. And Carville just having a word with inside centre from St. Michael's, Mark Kniff. Jack Dunn, he'll go for the corner.
Yeah, good referee in there, calming things down. And Michaels have to watch themselves on a warning, just on the edge of their own 22. And they've just seen Belvo get on top because Belvo started to move the ball. They've started to see the space, and it's been pretty impressive stuff. But as I said, they haven't got over the line and they need to nail this drill.
Granville. Up goes Morgan McMahon. And Usanoff now lays it back to Granville. Belvedere College building momentum. The black and white express. Flanagan, Jack Dunn, a little inside centre. Makes a few metres. Kniff trying to get over that ball. Flanagan, O'Neill. Matthew O'Neill. Work for Stewart and Jules Fenlon of St. Michael's. Granville, boy, he's been impressive, but he's shoved back in the tackle by Howard and Corrigan. Usanoff, the open side flanker. Matthew O'Neill. O'Reilly with the tackle for St. Michael's. Flanagan, Jack Dunn. Textbook tackle by White and Howard. Spicer. Just outside the 22. Granville. Good power by the hooker. Flanagan. Dunn. Ryan joining the line from his left wing. Flanagan once more. Garhan. And Cuddy, the fullback. And St. Michael's defence is really organised at the moment. Tackled by Fenelon and O'Reilly. It's relentless. Granville. Flanagan, McMahon, Dunn, Ryan to O'Grady, the outside centre. Spicer. It's looking ominous for St. Michael's. McMahon. Kniff with the tackle. 5 metres out, Belvedere College. 18 minutes on the clock, and again, they get out of the woods, St. Michael's. Impressive defence.
Well, what a tackle for Mark Kniff. He had a little bit of help from one of his colleagues there. I think it might be Stewart. but it's a lost opportunity for Belvedere because they were looked really, really good in that attacking sequence. They've some big ball carriers in O'Neill and Usnov. In Granville, they were all making gains, and it was when O'Neill just shifted the ball onto to Granville, they made the big break. But then when they did go wide, maybe it went wide at the wrong time and got a little bit isolated, and there were chances there where the forwards took over and just maybe hogged it a little bit too long when there was space on the outside. But again, another really good attack, good accuracy, but Michaels would be delighted to come away with their line intact.
Stewart, Corrigan, the number 8 with the take, lays it back, and Stewart is at the back of that rolling maul. Look at the work from Morgan McMahon, trying to come through the centre, causing drama for James Sherwin. De Klerk, uncharacteristic error. So really got a test match feeling about it at the moment. No points after the opening 20 minutes here at Energia Park, and Knuff, who's a good cricket player as well, clears the decks.
It's all pressure, isn't it? Like Belleville put pressure on through the maul, that put pressure on Sherwin, and then the pass was a little bit high for De Klerk, so it all has a knock-on effect, and Michaels just can't get out of their half right now. And the impressive play that we saw from them earlier on in the game, they're just not able to get into their flow at the same time. Belleville have a lot of ball, a lot of pressure, another opportunity here, but they haven't been able to make it pay, and you know that Michaels will get into the game. And I just do think that win is probably, although it's going across, probably just favouring Belleville a little bit more. Spice is just getting typed up right now, so they're going to have a chance to kind of have a little debrief get some messages on, have a breather. And Belleville, well, they must be feeling good about themselves. They won't be happy with this scoreline.
Belvedere College, well, two of the sides they've beat this season so far has been St. Mary's and Gonzaga. But they have lost to St. Michael's in the season, and Congos and Terranure. For St. Michael's, they've had so many victories. Monkstown, Wesley, Congos, Belvedere, Blackrock, St. Mary's. Just losing to Terranure of the sides who are featuring this year in the Leinster Schools Senior Cup of 2023. And Granville, he's also been impressive. So many carries. Morgan McMahon can't get that one, so the skipper, James White, with the turnover. Kirkham, that's the play at 9, here's Mikey O'Reilly. Sherwin back to De Klerk. And that ball's not out. Andre Ryan, you've got to watch out for this feather. And Ben Howard, well, he really felt the strength of Andre Ryan there. Good hands by O'Neill. And hacked ahead by Paddy Wood. Work for Ivor Cuddy. Cuddy, beautiful stepping. And he gets away from Sherwin. Ben Howard with the tackle. Morgan McMahon. Gohan. So here comes St. Michael's. Billy De Klerk. Sends it into the 22. A little bit of kick tennis at the moment. And Cuddy. A bit of a miscue, but it's not a bad kick. It's worked out on the halfway line. 21 minutes gone here, 0-0 deadlock. This game could go either way, and it just shows you Leinster Schools Senior Cup Rugby, so much pressure. These sides met 3 months ago to the day where St. Michael's won 55 points to 12. Different ball game.
Different ball game, and like the conditions are perfect. Like that little bit of breeze, but there's no, there's no excuse for the handling. But the handling's it's quite tactical. A lot of kicking at play. Both teams want to play in the opposition's half, and I think Michaels might need to come out and play a little bit more if they're going to get a foothold in the game, because when they kept the ball, they do have the capacity to break Belvedere down. We've seen that already. And Belvedere, with their ball carriers, have been very effective with ball in hand, just not in when they get it onto that 5 metre line, and just haven't been able to come away with the spoils. But yeah, it's not going to be high scoring, Justin, and I think that first score could be really, really crucial. I know it's obvious to say, but the longer this goes on, the team that breaks the deadlock will have a serious advantage.
Just in terms of future fixtures in round 1, Blackrock College play Presentation College play tomorrow on Premier Sports, and then you can catch Newbridge College, Kilkenny, Tirrenia Conglos, St Mary's Wesley, and CBC Monkstown and St Vincent's Castleknock, all on videos on the nets. It's going to be an action-packed week. Stewart, Walsh, Brown, Sherwin, and Knuff, the inside centre. Sherwin for the de Klerk, beautiful to watch here. Fenlon, the outside centre. What a fend that was by Jules Fenlon. And Jim White. Sherwin for the de Klerk. And here's Howard now, the loose head prop. Coogan, beautiful hands by the tight head prop, and de Klerk and Paddy Wood. Sherwin and Rory Brown. De Klerk just scanning his options. Really good defense by Usunov. Knuff, O'Reilly. Sherwin goes on the right to David Walsh. De Klerk and Corrigan. De Klerk, Knuff. Beautiful ball to Patrick Wood. Just flirting with a few players. Slow ball for St Michael's. De Klerk and Howard. No side giving an inch at the moment. Belvedere College with a penalty. And it might be 0-0, Ruri, but it's been an entertaining 24 minutes so far here at Energia Park. Leinster Schools Senior Cup action at its finest.
Absolutely, Justin. Really good breakdown from Belvo there. It's been a contest all day. It's the Arthur O'Reilly, I think, who gets in over the ball. But I think Michaels just need to get the ball into Mark Kniff's hands. He looks really sharp right now, and he's a lovely balance with Fenlon in the midfield. Fenlon, we haven't seen an awful lot of him with ball in hand. The one time he got there, he just stepped out of one tackle inside another. He looks like a lovely player. But Michaels, just when they've gone into those positions, they haven't been able to maintain it, whether it's putting bodies into the breakdown or just not resourcing the ruck properly. Belvo been able to get over the ball, and we've seen both teams have chances but not been able to take them, and Belvo now with a chance to work another line out. And hopefully Granville finds his man and they're able to build a bit of pressure.
The last two games between these sides at Leinster School Senior Cup level. 2019, St Michael's won 16 points to 15. In 2018, Belvedere won 20 points to 19. So at the moment, 24 minutes, 0-0, and it just shows you that there's a big rivalry between these sides at Leinster School Senior Cup level. O'Reilly giving the call to Granville. Up goes Spicer. David Walsh tries to poach it. And Bob.
I might be wrong, Justin. I think that's the first time they've actually gone to Spicer. They used him as a DK all afternoon. I mean, he's such size. You'd think that getting him up there is almost guaranteed ball, but it was really good pressure, I think, from O'Reilly, who's had a really, really good game. Really influential player in this Michaels team. He wants the ball. He's hungry for it. And what I like about both teams is they're making everything a contest. Every action is a contest. They're going after that ball. They want that ball. And that's making it such an entertaining fixture so far, despite the scoreline.
Paul Flanagan, the captain of Belvedere College, with the put-in. Good scrum from Belvedere College. Gahan to Tan, the inside centre. Knuff trying to get the turnover, his opposite number. And O'Neill, Matthew O'Neill. St Michael's always looking for the turnover. Back on the inside to Spicer. Flanagan works the short side to Gahan. And into touch it goes. St Michael's line out.
Yeah, some more great ball carrying from the Belvo forwards. O'Neill is in really prominent. Spicer He takes some bringing down. He's a big man. It's really good work from Sherwin to get O'Neill to deck. But once again, you wonder whether just be better off hanging on to it there. There wasn't much space on that left wing. There's 3 forwards lining up on the other side. They've been getting great joy out of their carry. Maybe get the ball into Usanov's hands, maybe get the ball into O'Neill's hands and keep the pressure on. Because they've shown previously that if they keep the pressure on, they're able to win penalties and get possession. So Belvo just need to take the right option at the right time, because if they stay patient, the opportunities will come.
Just the 3 losses this season for St Michael's against Tirana, Cardiff and Sedberg. Sherwin and Kniff trying to get go forward ball, a monster carry in centre field. And a penalty as well. Good reward for a good carry.
Yeah, Kniff's got a fairly sizable advantage on Jack Dunn there, his opposite number. And he went after Gaughan as well, and just, you know, sometimes it's just physics. It was a really good carry, and he's had a real influence on this game. He's able to get his team up the park, win the penalty. Yeah, it's just lads getting caught on the wrong side. It's happening quite frequently now. It's slightly messy at the breakdown. Both teams as well being warned by the referee to hurry things up. We've seen that World Rugby directive around the line-out, trying to do things at their own pace. Good chance for Michaels here.
Stewart. Up goes David Walsh. St Michael's looking to build some momentum. Belvedere College, more defence looks really good. To Clark, Fenlon, pressure on David Lucy, tackled by Barr. Beautiful tackle by the right winger. And David Walsh. Sherwin, Ben Howard, loose head prop to Clark, and it's been intercepted. Granville, the hooker. He's been outstanding. Flanagan, Usanov. Huge carry. Big chance for Belvedere College. Jack Dunn. Skip pass to Paddy O'Grady. Flanagan. And Matthew O'Neill with the offload to McDermott. Gaughan with good hands to McMahon. Spicer, the killer whale. Gaughan floats it over the top to Cuddy, to Barr. And Barr drops the buckets. But that was some entertaining rugby.
Some phenomenal rugby there from Belvedere, and a really important intervention from de Klerk, who just gets over and does enough to put the winger off. Again, Belvo off turnover ball. De Klerk's, it all started with de Klerk's kick, which was picked up by Granville, and Granville races clear, and then we had good carries from Usanov, from O'Neill, but there was one time where Usanov had the ball. It was a great carry, but he had a 4-man overlap outside him, and he just missed the chance to put it outside. And we saw when O'Neill had that lovely offload to McDermott, they made ground. When Belva moved the ball at the right times, they're really impressive. That was unlucky. Michaels would feel they got away with one, and again, Belvo probably have had the best of the play over the course of this game.
Sherwin with the put-in, controlling at the back is Corrigan and Kniff. You'll look to relieve some pressure. Another healthy carry and a penalty as well. Still 5 minutes to go before the half-time Oranges, and perhaps a final chance for St Michael's to maybe fine touch and launch an attack.
And again, it's that man, Kniff, is doing it's not very glamorous work, but he's doing really important work for his team. Another hard carry, another penalty, another chance for de Klerk to relieve the pressure. But we can see there's definitely that wind is a factor. Michaels are not able to get the ball up the pitch, and they've only got 5 more minutes playing into it. So that'll be a concern for Belvedere, that they, with that wind at their backs, which I think is probably more of an influence than we've given credit for, because they've had a lot of field position without any reward.
David Walsh, Spicer with the turnover, pressure on McMahon. Usanov, Gaughan with the dummy, tackled by Kniff. Flanagan, Andre Ryan, tackled by Corrigan, important tackle. Flanagan and McCann, Cuddy, Supply, and Patrick Wood. The left winger, good presentation. Stewart tackled by O'Neill. Sherwin sends it back to de Klerk. Opportunity now for Cuddy, Ivor Cuddy. Oh, sweetly done by the fullback.
Good kick, but again, Belvedere moving the ball in traffic. And Michael's defending very, very well, it must be said. They've made their tackles, they've forced the errors, and they've had to do a lot of defending in this first half, but they look quite comfortable without the ball as well. They'll want to have more of it in the when we get into the second half, but it has been difficult for them to get out of their half. And I think de Klerk will have more joy with the boot once he's playing with that wind at his back. We can see with the touch judge's flag there, it's affecting a couple of areas of the game.
David Walsh this time makes no mistake. 3 minutes to go in the first half. Stewart.
Morgan's injured, fuck.
Sherwin.
Sorry.
And James White, the captain. Sherwin. And Reen Coogan. Back from Sherwin to de Klerk. Coogan, he's been so impressive, the tight head prop. And so is this customer, Ryan and Cuddy. Jack Dunn with a lovely line.
So infamous.
James White. What a poach by the St. Michael's captain.
Yeah, Ryan there, who's been really, really good this first half. He just got overly enthusiastic, came in from the side when he probably didn't need to. Michaels hadn't put a lot of bodies into that ruck, but a chance now for de Klerk to find some good field position. Again, Belvo looking really threatening. Moving the ball well. Ryan looks really, really dangerous when they get his hands on it. But again, you can see that de Klerk just can't get the distance that he wants out of those kicks. And Michaels now a chance to get their hands on the ball, to get O'Reilly carrying hard on that man Kniff. If they can get him over the gain line, they'll be onto something. I think there's treatment here for David. Ryan McCann, a bit of cramp. Or is it Morgan McMahon? Yeah, Morgan McMahon. Yeah, it looks like a calf injury. And he want to get to half time, get that strapped up. He won't want to come off.
Two brilliant coaches for St. Michael's and Belvedere. St. Michael's coached by Emmett McMahon, a teacher at St. Michael's, also an assistant coach with Terranure College, you're top of the AIL. And then for Belvedere, well, they coached by Philip Uerahiko, who's also an excellent coach. He's been at Belvedere College for about 10 years and also coached in Russia in between. And Walsh with the take. Brown delivers to Sherwin, to de Klerk. Fenman, beautiful ball, and what a tackle by Ryan. But Patrick Wood is still going. It was a really good tackle by Ryan. De Klerk. O'Reilly, the number 5. Takes 2 to bring him down. Sherwin on the blind side for Lucy and Rory Brown with the offload back to his fullback, David Lucy. Kirkham has to play at scrum off once more to Klerk for Howard. His loose set prop. Free play. Beautiful to Knuth. Patrick Wood leaves that one behind. 34 minutes on the clock here. But we will come back for the penalty.
And we saw both teams at the start of the game struggle with their line out, but Tom Stewart has really nailed what he's doing now, and Michaels are getting a really good source of possession out of touch. And if I was Belvo, I'd be starting to get worried, because this is a really, if they go to touch, and I wonder will de Klerk, he will, they'll go for the juggler, and you can see their maul is working. They've got Kniff coming in at first receiver. If they don't give it to him, they've got the option of Fenlon as well, who's looking more and more dangerous as it goes. And this is a real chance for them to go in 5 or 7 points up at the break.
St. Michael's have scored plenty of tries from the Roving Maul this season. You can see the crowd going bonkers at the back. Walsh to Brown. Stewart at the back of that roving maul. As well as David Walsh, who taps it on to James White, the captain. It's a work of art at the moment, but brilliant defence by Belvedere College. Outstanding. What a counter before half-time. Phenomenal by Belvedere College.
Yeah, that maul was moving, but Spicer just worked his way through, and brought the man down. And, you know, Carville said it was okay. It might have been debatable, but it's a big play from a big man, and it means we 0-0 at the break.
So Ruri, thoughts on that first half? Incredible, really. Sometimes history can repeat itself. And when these sides met in 2019 and 2018, both won by 1 point. And again, this fixture could go down to the wire.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that win is going to be a big factor, though. And Michaels, with that, I know them all didn't work out for them in the end. They were quite dominant, though. They have a good quick tap game as well. If they can get the possession and the territory, they look like they could get something going. At the same time, if they are forced to play with the ball, Belvo have the ball carriers to cause Michaels real problems. They really won't be happy with the amount of time that they spent in St. Michael's territory without scoring. But they look at what O'Neill's done, what Usman's done, you know, over the course of that game, what Spicer's able to do. They will have a chance if they can hold on to the ball, but they've got to start making the right decisions at the right time. For Michaels, I think it's a question of patience. It's about getting into the right areas, because once they're there, they look so well drilled that they'll get results. And with that centre partnership, they might have the class to break it wide open. But look, they both have a lot to work on at half-time, but they'll both be quite optimistic about their chances once they come back out.
Well said. Brilliant first half. Don't go anywhere. Second 35 minutes coming up very shortly between St. Michael's College and Belvedere College. 0-0 at the break. Second half almost underway, and so far deadlocked here at half-time. St. Michael's 0, Belvedere College 0. No points for either side, but that can certainly change in the second half. It's a big 35 minutes for all these players, and of course for some of them, if they do lose, it'll be their final 35 minutes of rugby at school level. And both sides, of course, do not want to lose this fixture. Leinster Schools Senior Cup action. So much pressure on these sides. No changes as well at half-time. And John Carville, well, such an experienced referee. And he's controlled the game well so far. So Jack Dunn will get the second half underway for Belvedere College, playing from right to left. John Carville checks with his officials. Time is on. Jack Dunn. Mikey O'Reilly had a huge opening 35 minutes. Sherwin back to de Klerk. And Ivor Cuddy, the fullback. Support from Dunn. And O'Neill with a big don't argue. Tackled by Coogan. Owen McDermott, the loose head prop. Granville pops it, beautiful line by McMahon. And Paul Flanagan, the captain, he needs to be careful, he's not isolated. O'Neill, the number 8, beautiful offload. Delicious. And Cuddy. Corrigan almost getting the turnover, Kniff as well. And penalty to Belvedere College, hands on the ground.
That was difficult for St. Michael's. I think Corrigan got his hands on the ball legitimately, but wasn't able to get it away. I thought he could have just as easily got the penalty. We'll have another look at it here. Cuddy just runs into traffic, he gets his hands on the ball. Belvedere man wrestles it back off him, and then it's Carville. Oh, sorry, Kniff who gets... Carville's the ref. Kniff gets himself on the wrong side. And another chance for Belvo, who've opened up really, really impressively. Very impressive, Matthew O'Neill. He's been really good all day, and now he's starting to free his hands. And Granville, I know he hasn't gone all his way out of touch, but his handling has been really good as well. He's put a couple of players through little holes, and it's getting them on the front foot.
Taken by McMahon. And here comes this rolling more from Belvedere College. St. Michael's do well defensively. Dunn to O'Grady, the outside centre. Flanagan, McDermott. Great carry by the prop. Granville again. About 15 metres out. Morgan McMahon. Metres out, Belvedere College. And patience is the name of the game at the moment. Edging closer. O'Reilly with the carry. Can they put down the hammer? O'Neill, Matthew O'Neill. Granville with the pick and go. David Walsh doing a lot of work. Whistle off.
Get that wide!
Morgan McMahon. Phase after phase we go. Alan Spicer. Well marked by Howard. Flanagan, O'Neill. Countless phases here. Knuff trying to get the turnover. Granville. It is relentless. McDermott. Big moments after half time here. Spicer once more. And it's a knock-on.
Unbelievable defending from St Michael's College. They're being asked big questions by this Belvo succession of ball carriers who are coming on the ball. Ustinov had a couple of big ones there. O'Neill is always prominent. And yet, once again, there was a little bit of space out left. That man, Andre Ryan, was calling for the ball. They decided to keep it in tight and eventually just ran aground. But Michaels have got to be happy with how they patiently defend themselves through so many phases, just waiting for that error. But at the same time, they don't want to be doing this all day. You know, they've got to go and try and win the game themselves. They've got to get out of this part of the pitch. They've got to get up and cause Belvedere a few headaches, because eventually you'd imagine Belvedere are going to get over the line.
Both sides had their chances in the first half. Couldn't convert. And Belvedere had their first short chance of the first half. Unsuccessful. Billy O'Donoghue is on for St Michael's. De Klerk. And he's done well, but that ball's not out. Cuddy, the fullback. Brilliant from Cuddy. The tackle by Kirkham. Spicer, soft hands to O'Reilly. Gahan and Granville, key player in this Belvedere College side. McDermott with the carry. Flanagan, Gahan, and then Barr. Little chip over the top for Ryan. Ryan almost getting there, and De Klerk does well, but under the cosh, St Michael's. Can they survive? They've got the free play.
Oh, I'm not sure if he could have let that just unfold a little bit, but he had advantage to Clerk, and he put the cross kick into space. Might have just been judicious to wait a second, but De Klerk does really, really well here. Lovely chip ahead. It's Fenlon gets there. It actually wasn't carried back across, but De Klerk thought he had been carried back across, but I think it came off a Belvo hand. It wasn't spotted by the referee, so probably was going to be a scrum 5, only for De Klerk getting over the line, and then they end up winning the penalty, and he's able to clear his lines. Clever piece of game awareness from him.
And Clerk also did initially well there off that scrum a few minutes ago under massive pressure to clear that ball. Didn't find touch, but really did well.
You almost wonder, as this goes on, as tight as it is, will they even start looking to drop goals? There was a few seconds under the post there where I thought Belvedere might just go for it.
Rory Brown, good recovery. Coogan, the tight end prop. The offload to Stewart. Up towards the halfway. Ben Howard, De Klerk.
Nobody home.
Safety first. Work for Cuddy. It's a good kick. It's not out. Patrick. Oh, high tackle on Sherwin. And this could be a yellow card.
Yeah, no intent there, Justin, but it's certainly high. Referee looks like he's content to just give a penalty, but he's going to have a word with his AR. Certainly the Belvedere crowd thought it was a foot and touch from Sherwin. He just dips a little bit at the last moment, but the ref doesn't have the benefit of a replay, and he's going to have a word.
Cuddy is the guilty party here. And this could be a massive momentum swing. High tackle on James Sherwin.
Just a warning.
And he won't be sent to the dog box.
Like, you don't want to see players sent off, but I do think under the letter of the law, he's a little bit lucky. There was a dip just at the last moment from the St Michael's ball carrier, but I've seen them given his yellow. still a huge opportunity for Michaels here. We talked about it just before half-time, how they've nailed their line out and they've a very good maul, and when they get their structure right they look dangerous, and this is a good chance as they get to the edge of the 22.
Stewart, Walsh, Brown. Tom Stewart at the back. McDermott being a nuisance as well as O'Reilly. And Stewart needs support. Great work by McMahon. Here's Reen Coogan. Shoved back in the tackle by Usanov. Penalty to St. Michael's. Decision time. 3 points on offer. Ruri.
Yeah, Tom Stewart did really, really well. We've seen Belvo's small defence work a couple of times, and that was it was really good. Michaels got going forward, but Belvo were able to splinter them. They got up, and Stewart just peeled off. Balls moved infield, and O'Neill, who's been really, really good, just guilty of getting a bit keen, but I'm surprised with that. But Leclerc, it's a 0-all game. 43 minutes gone, but Michaels are going for it. Belvo's maul defence has been really, really good. I think, personally, it's time to get points on the board.
Tom Stewart needs to get the darts right, which he does. Walsh. And the darts weren't right there, Ruri. As you said, smooth low.
Yeah, and it's been improved. Like he had a couple of wobbly ones at the start, but he got it. Their drill has been really, really good ever since. But I think that was I'm not sure about the decision, Justin, to go to the corner. I really thought there was a chance to get some points on the board and put some pressure on. It's not going to be a high-scoring game.
Flanagan, the skipper.
Pressure from Michaels.
Gahan, Tutan, the inside centre, James Sherwin. Outstanding work with Billy de Klerk and Mikey O'Reilly with the choke tackle. The Belvedere College do well to secure that ball. Gahan, the outside bar. He's got room here. Gordon Barr. But too much oats on that one.
That's unfortunate, a bit of ambition. They spotted the space and they went for it. But Michaels is starting to get pressure on at the scrum time there. And we almost had the 9-10 choke tackle win the turnover. Belvedere did really well to get out of it, but Michaels, they're getting a bit of sustained pressure down here. Belvedere having the same problems getting out of their own half as Michaels had in the first.
David Walsh. It's been imperious in the lineouts. Stewart's this blue rumbling engine steaming forward. But Belvedere College also doing good, but they've given away a penalty at the same time. Stewart's looking angry. So can they cash in? Knuff, the inside centre, bashes the players straight out of the road. Knuff stretching. Another pick and go. Relentless. Try time St. Michael's. That's what they were looking for. And it's Mikey O'Reilly, the towering number 5. First try of the game.
Yeah, Mikey O'Reilly's been really strong in contact all day, and they weren't going to stop him from that far out. It's the first time really Michaels have got this close in a long, long time. I thought Kniff had gotten over the line and the ref was just caught on the wrong side, but Michaels weren't to be denied. And look, I was a little bit critical of the decision to go to the corner a couple of minutes ago, but they knew what they were able to do once they got possession in the right areas, and that was very impressive for Michaels and worrying for Belvedere because they're struggling to get out of their own half now. Michaels are starting to put the pressure on, and once that line out works, they're looking very dangerous.
Absolute brilliant carry by Knuff. Jules Fenlon to add the extra 2. Pressure from Ryan. Off the bar. So it's just 5 points the difference. What a chase by Andre Ryan.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things, it doesn't often work, but that just shows why it's worth doing. And in a game this tight, you just don't know how important that could be down the line. Belvedere will be heartened by that because it's only a 5-point game. They've shown they can break Michaels down, just haven't had the finished product. They just need to get their hands on the ball again.
O'Reilly, the try scorer. Sherwin, back to de Klerk. Avocati, the fullback, looking to spark something. Good hands by Granville and Morgan McMahon. Knuth. Two brilliant pieces of play in quick succession from the inside centre. Dunn is looking for an opening. Coogan with the tackle. And McDermott. Minutes to go, yeah, just over 20 minutes to go. Pressure on the skipper Flanagan. Usonov has to recover the ball. Flanagan. De Klerk. Tackled by Matthew O'Neill. St. Michael's just inside their own half. And a penalty as well, and for Maps, Rory, the momentum is swinging out.
I tell you, Justin, Kniff and O'Reilly together are having massive games for St. Michael's, and they're arresting the momentum of this game back into their side's favour. There's been a lot of players had big games in this afternoon in Donnybrook, but those two are having a real influence on proceedings, and Belvedere are really struggling to handle them. That pressure he put on Flanagan, that's a great kick from LaRue. Sorry, de Klerk. I have Billy LaRue in my head. But he looks like a fellow who could go on and achieve some things in the game.
Another opportunity for St. Michael's to make it a 2-point or 2-score ball game. Stewart for David Walsh. Rory Brown. Stewart at the back. And here they come. It's looking phenomenal from St. Michael's. Looking for try number 2. Dismantled by Belvedere College. Corrigan. Mikey O'Reilly. Surely not a second. Agonisingly close. Tom Stewart. Tom Stewart scores try number 2 for St. Michael's, and they mean business.
Yeah, it's almost a carbon copy of the first try. Really good line out, really good maul. And you can see that once they've been able to get access into the Belvedere red zone, they have the smarts and the game plan to get themselves through. And Stewart, who's been really, really good at the back of that maul, controlling things, he gets his just reward. And you can feel that, Belvedere were on top, that wind definitely had been a factor in that first half. They spent a lot of time down here. Michaels have been far more ruthless. They've taken the opportunities when they've come.
Jules Fenlon, unsuccessful with his first conversion. The outside centre, part of the Ireland under-19 squad over Christmas. Also part of the national talent squad level 2 Leinster under-19s in July as well. In 2022 has the opportunity to just stretch the lead a little bit further. If this goes over, Belvedere College will have to score 2 converted tries at least to win the game. Fenlon. Converts with certainty. Jules Fenlon. So 52 minutes gone here at Energy Park. St. Michael's 12. Belvedere College 0. Can they respond, Rory?
Yeah, it's this time he had 3 lads coming at him. And he nailed it, and then that's a big kick for him as Belvedere start ringing the changes. Charlie Coughlin and Ryan Bulger coming into the fray. McCann and Granville are coming off.
Cheers.
Mikey O'Reilly, or you may as well call him the human tower. He's been immense, and so is this customer, Coogan. But he lets it go. Opportunity now for Belvedere College. McDermott looking to provide his side with a spark. Gahan. And the pressure is starting to mount. Bah! Slips out of the tackle of Fenman, but then what a hit by Sam Corrigan. Penalty to St. Michael's, and you can look at Mikey O'Reilly celebrating. Every single penalty that they win now, they're a step closer to the next round.
Yeah, and think about the physical toll of that first half, the amount of tackles Michael's put in. Even the start of the second half, they had a big goal line stand, and yet they look the fresher team. They're winning the collisions, and you know, Belvedere are starting to panic a little bit. They're starting to make fairly rushed decisions. They know they have to score. They have to score soon, but they're back in the place they really don't want to be, and Michael's be licking their lips.
Still plenty of time in this game, though. 17 minutes. But a try will make it so much harder for Belvedere College. Stewart to Walsh once more. Stewart's at the back. He's looking for a brace. Tom Stewart. So impressive, this roving maul. Good defense, Belvedere College. The human tower, Mikey O'Reilly. Stewart having a crack. Ben Howard, the loose head prop. David Walsh is poised. Walsh. Another pick and go. Coogan, the tight head prop. Ruthless. Mikey O'Reilly, the human tower, strikes for St. Michael's. He's got a brace.
Yeah, well, I'd say his winger would have killed him if he didn't get over, because he was in acres of space out here, but Michael's don't need it. And O'Reilly, he's been really, really impressive. And you can see Belvedere tried to sack that maul that time. Spicer got in, he sacked it, but Michael's were onto him. They shifted the point of contact, they got around, they got within inches of the line, and once you're there, they just settled into their pattern. Carry, and eventually the pressure told. You can see a couple of the Belvedere players getting treatment now. It's not looking good for them. 17-0, could be 19. You can feel it slipping away. And all those missed chances in that first half, Justin, they've spent almost as much time down here as Michaels did, but they just couldn't make it count.
As far as the history books are concerned, Belvedere College have overcome a deficit like this before through their ex-winger, James McKeown, who scored a hat-trick about 6 years ago. Jules Fenlon to add the extra two. Fenlon, good pressure from Belvedere College, but the crowd tells you that ball's gone over. St. Michael's 19, Belvedere 0, and Belvedere need to roll the dice here. They need something quickly.
Yeah, Phil Wehiko sending in Dan Redden, Jonathan Walsh, but as we watch the try here, we may as well show any of them. They're all the same. They're all close range, hard carrying, tough work. Not the most exciting stuff, but Michaels don't care. They're so effective in that driving maul, in their hard carrying game. And it's a long roll back here from Belvedere. I know they did it before, but this is a very effective St. Michael's team.
Taken by the outside centre, Jules Fenlon. Billy O'Donoghue. And Sherwin. Cuddy. He's been elusive at the back. Sparked a few openings. Coughlin with the carry. And then the hoist by Doyle and de Klerk. It's game management has been exceptional. Coogan. He's been fantastic. He's got silky skills as well. Sherwin, Kniff. And he finds touch with ease. Smart little kick by Kniff.
Yeah, and I know Belvedere playing into the wind. They do need territory, but I think they've got to hold on to that ball because Michaels will just happily pin them back. Belvedere needed just a moment of inspiration. Someone to do something special because right now they're staring down the barrel and it's quite easy for St. Michael's at the moment.
Sabolja gets support from Owen McDermott. And up goes Spicer. Walsh trying to get the turnover. Belvedere College now looking for some meters. With this black and white Rothing Mall. Bolger at the back. He's gone to ground. And it's a turnover to St. Michael's. And time is running out. Kniff applauding his forwards.
Big effort. I mean, Belvo got the roll on. Michaels had contested hard, so they didn't have the bodies. They got the surge. They went forward. They're very unlucky not to get a penalty there because the St. Michael's number 20, Billy O'Donoghue, is off his feet and brings it down. But the referee decides it's come down naturally and it's a scrum to St. Michael's. Belvedere really could have done with that stroke of luck. Fortunately, they're on the defensive side again. And I can see Michael's just happily just putting the ball in behind, play the territory game, wind down this clock. They're the dominant team right now.
Sherwin. Billy O'Donoghue. Nice skill to Clark. Kirkham. Lucy. And here is Patrick Wood. Patrick Wood, he's got Lucy on his outside. Superb break. Rory Brown. Looking for a fourth try. Mikey O'Reilly. Coogan. Fenlon. Sherwin for Rory Brown. Belvedere College not giving up. It's Mikey O'Reilly. The human tower. Sherwin for Coogan. Once more. Penalty to Belvedere College. Well, we've got to commend them. 19 points down. And they're still staying alive.
This was some
beautiful play.
Yeah, absolutely. St. Michael's backs wanted to come to the party. They shifted it. Big shout for that one to be a forward pass, but in fairness to the referee, David Lucy's hands did go backwards, and that's the way the law is being reffed at the moment. Mike, Belvedere, you got to commend the way they defended that because you're right, 19 down, back on your own try line. That's very demoralising stuff. But they held firm, won the turnover. They have a long way to go from here. But we saw the last time that maul, once they get it going, it's effective. They just got to find their man. They got to get forward, and they got to make something happen real quick.
Bolger. Spicer. Good take by Alan Spicer. Bolger at the back. Getting plenty of meters here. Still going. Bolger breaking through. Needs supports. Dan has to play at scrum off. And that's gone back. Wood. But no advantage. We do come back for the penalty.
It was a deliberate knock-on in the tackle there. Nothing more than a penalty. He was trying to tackle. It was a really good maul. And then Bulger broke away. He looks really, really sharp. Belmary rather. And it comes off the hand of Paddy Wood. And here's a chance for Belvo. I wonder will Michaels go up and attack it as hard, because when they come down, Belvo are starting to make progress.
Daniel Redden on and the number 18 jumper for Belvedere College. In sixth year. 8 minutes left of his Belvedere College career, and that's Belvedere College can score 3 converted tries. It's possible. Tap back by McMahon. And Garhan with a short pass. To Matthew O'Neill. McDermott. And McMahon. And Lucy. Good work from Sherwin. He's been very physical to scrum off. Not afraid of the dogfights. Spicer. Interesting call to go to the air. Lucy de Klerk. Lovely kick by de Klerk. That's a thing of beauty. From Wilhelm de Klerk.
Yeah, I just think at this stage of the game, with such little time left on the clock, I know they're putting it up in the air, they're hoping for a mistake, but they're just feeding Michaels. And Michaels really haven't made any mistakes in this half. They've been so clinical. And they were very unlucky not to get a 50-22 there, de Klerk, but they're in that red zone again, albeit without the ball, but very hard to see Belvedere finding a way back from here. And they just can't be giving the ball back to Michaels. They've got to play. Dan Dillon's on for Gordon Barrett. There's about 3 players getting cramp or getting treated for cramp down there. It's been hard on the legs. It's been some game. I mean, I know Belvedere be very disappointed 19-0 down, but they've really contributed to this game. They've been really excellent. Some of their individual performances have been superb. They've just come up against a bit of a machine here in this St. Michael's side. And they're going to take some stopping, I think, Justin. I know there's a lot of quality teams who'll be out in the next couple of days, but this is laying down a marker this second half.
Absolutely. Rory McKenna is on the park in the number 19 jersey and that baby blue scrum cap for St. Michael's. Morgan McMahon has also got through an awful amount of work. Belvedere College for their efforts, particularly in the first half. They deserve a try of some sorts. And O'Neill, the number 8. Dunn playing in scrum off. Can they go 70 plus meters here? Dunn with the inside ball to Cuddy. Dunn is isolated. Tom Stewart might have the turnover, but it's illegally, so the Belvedere College have an opportunity to get into the St. Michael's half and launch an attack.
Yeah, some good bit of patience there from Belvedere. Living on the edge a little bit. Michaels contesting hard at the breakdown. Went against them there, but they can take risks now, Michaels, if they want. They've got that cushion. But here's another chance for that Belvedere maul to get moving. And if they can force a penalty, it's just about enough time to get themselves back in the game, but it's got to happen quickly.
Five minutes to go at Energia Park. St. Michael's been flawless in the second half. Beautiful work in centre field. Belvedere College. And Dunn, the inside centre, tackled by his opposite, Kniff. Inside ball from Gahan, beautiful to Cuddy. Looking for something, Dillon. And then the inside ball from Jonathan Lynch in that number 22 jersey. Dunn. Lynch. Donahue and Brown with the tackle. And then Gocklin. Dunn with the inside ball to Ryan. And McKenna almost getting the steal. Redden. O'Reilly. Good body position, but no turnover. Usanov. Dunn. Gahan, Lynch, and Ryan. Good power. And and St. Michael's. Well, the defence has been quite something, it must be said. Onslaught after onslaught, particularly in the first half. And they get away once more.
Now, it must be incredibly demoralising to play against. They've caught a break though. That one was taken back in, and the clerk put it straight into touch, so it's a line out on the edge of the 22 and a chance for Michaels to at least get on the scoreboard. But they've just been running into brick walls all day. Even those inside passes have been working, but the cover defence, the bit of scramble from St. Michael's has been really, really good. They look so well drilled, so committed, making tackle after tackle after tackle, putting their bodies in the line. I saw Kniff go down with a bit of a knock. They won't want to lose him because he's been really exceptional himself and O'Reilly. But you would like to see, you don't want to patronise them, but you would like to see Belvo get off. That it isn't. This doesn't mean a nil game. But, they've played really, really well. They've contributed. They've created an awful lot. They've been unlucky at times. They've come up against a really, really excellent defensive machine.
Bolger to throw. Two and a half minutes left on the 22. Can they take something home? What is the call here from?
He was taken from the wrong place, Justin. So the ref has moved him another 10 metres closer to the line, and we've seen that maul has been really effective the last couple of times they got it moving. They just need to connect. Maybe Michaels might stay down this time, get their drive on.
Taken by Spicer, and hasn't really worked out. They've still got the ball, Belvedere College. Done. Matthew O'Neill has also been impressive in a losing cause. Done. Back on the inside to Cuddy. McKenna with good defence. McDermott. Knuth almost stripping that ball out the tackle. Lynch and O'Grady. Foley almost getting that turnover. And O'Neill as hungry as ever. Done for Coughlin. Fraser McKenna has been superb off the bench. Coughlin and Mikey O'Reilly with the defensive efforts. Usanov. O'Donoghue has to make the tackle. About 12 metres out here. Done. He's looked dangerous at scrum off. And Bolger. Alex Usanov. 5 metres out. Strong carry. Morgan McMahon pops it to Spicer. Matthew O'Neill. It's play on for O'Grady. It's gone back. Spins it wide. Done. Andre Ryan. Did he get it down? Try time. The left winger, Andre Ryan, strikes for Belvedere College, and they've found something.
Yeah, I think Tom Stewart's not happy. He thought he got an arm underneath, but there's no TMO here today at Energia Park. And look, it's no more than this old Belvedere team deserves a little bit of stroke of luck when O'Neill knocks the ball backwards, but they were brave to recover it. Ball moves wide, good hands, and in fairness, Andre Ryan's been really excellent, one of their best players today, one of the best players on the park. He deserves the try. Looks like he's going to take the conversion as well. And it's too late for a comeback, but at least they got off the mark and have something to take away from today, because they've really contributed to a great game of rugby.
Andre Ryan, Leinster under 18s in July of 2022. Difficult kick, looking to add the extra 2. And he's unsuccessful. And there's still time. Perhaps time for another try. Who knows? Come Coming onto the park for St. Michael's is Tom Begley replacing Tom Stewart, who's been immense.
Yeah, he's had a great game, Tom Stewart, and both teams had their issues early on with the line out, but he figured it out pretty quickly. And really, if you think that all 3 tries came off their line out drive, he was a very key player for them in what's been an impressive performance all round.
Billy de Klerk. Caddy. Caddy. Being safe at the back. And Coughlin. And Doon Maguire, who's just in 4th year, gets the turnover. Phenomenal from the number 18. Rory Brown. O'Connor on and scrum off. And the number 21 jumper, marshalling the troops. Back to Billy de Klerk. And St. Michael's win the fixture, 19 points to 5. They're through to the quarterfinals in 2 weeks. It was 0-0 at half-time. So tight. St. Michael's scored 3 consecutive tries in the second half. A brace by the human tower, Mikey O'Reilly. Tom Stewart as well, the hooker scored. And then Belvedere College did really well, and they showed good fight to score a try in the last 2 or so minutes. Their left winger, Andre Ryan. But what an incredible encounter. 0-0 at half-time, Ruri, but a ferocious battle.
Yeah, and you can see the devastation on the Belvedere faces at the end of the game. They put everything into it. They'll look at it as a bit of a lost opportunity because they had chances in that first half. They played very, very well. They just weren't able to make that possession and territory count. I thought O'Neill was excellent. I thought Ryan at the end, he deserved that try. There was a couple of others. Usnov made a big impact on the game. Spicer. But ultimately, it was St. Michael's kind of stayed patient, defended their way through that first half, played really, really well without the ball, and then in the knowledge that when they got it, they would have a real impact. And having defended their way through the first 40 minutes, they backed their drill, they got possession. I thought the Clerk was really, really good throughout, but he was able to put them in position, and once the forwards got the opportunity, they nailed their line-out drill. O'Reilly was excellent. I thought Mark Caniff in the centre was really, really good. We've mentioned Tom Stewart, and they're always good, they're always strong, they're always one of the favourites, and they're going to take some stopping this year. We're going to see a couple of the other teams out the rest of the week. They'll all have watched this Michael's game, they'll all be analysing it, trying to figure out weaknesses, but we didn't see too many weaknesses here today. Really good game, really good win, and they're going to take some stopping.
So a reminder, tomorrow it's Blackrock College taking on Presentation College Bray. That game will be on Premier Sports. But then from Tuesday all the way through to Friday, you can catch the 2023 Leinster Schools Senior Cup, all on videos on the net. On Tuesday at 3 o'clock, it's Newbridge College taking on Kilkenny College. Then on Wednesday at 3 o'clock, it's Terranure College taking on Clongowes Wood, which is going to be an immense game. Thursday at St. Mary's College versus Wesley College, and on Friday it's CBC Monkstown against Castleknock College, which is not being broadcasted. It is another 2 games on Friday, kicking off at 3 o'clock, Gonzaga College, and also they're playing against the Vinnie Murray qualifiers, and also Sturgeon College playing after that. That's all from us here at Energia Park at St. Michael's, who are through to the quarterfinals of the 2023 Leinster Schools Senior Cup. Thank you very much for joining us.
Everyone is competing with something, and that's okay. Competition is a good thing. Not the kind that makes us bitter, the kind that makes us better. So we're proud to support Connacht, Leinster, Munster and Ulster Rugby. While most folks share for one, we support all 4 provinces, because we live and work in all 4. And round here, competition is a good friend. It fuels us, connects us, pushes us past whatever stands in our way. And when we fall on the pitch or off it, it picks us up and reminds us, once you begin, you must never stop competing.